Three, two, one.
You ready?
Listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. We are talking another movie for our Real Spooky series. This is not a spooky movie, but it is scary in terms of quality, but we will we will get to that. So I've got two special guests tonight, which I am so fucking happy. I actually haven't had either of you on, I don't think. Now I'm thinking about it. One of my guests is a part of the lost recording of our Fast 9 review, which is very fucking unfortunate. Really wish that audio existed still. But from the afternoon tune, I've got Nick here. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I got my dog right here in my arm, and I got my coffee in the other.
I'm very sad you can't see Nick's dog, but his dog is fucking adorable. And oh my god, he's so cute. Hey, buddy. And then from random hilarious dad comments on Twitter, you know my other guest here. If only all of you knew the conversations that me and this person have had. I adore this person so much. Captain Canada himself, Bradley. Bradley, how you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. So happy to be here. I discussed this story from long ago.
Yeah,
I would argue that it's not spooky. I would argue it's spooky in its subject matter.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's super scary for Eddie Gathigi because you know that guy is not lasting. They advertised right away. He's not going to make it.
That poor guy.
Yeah, he cannot catch a break between this and. But we'll get there. So we are talking about the Twilight Saga. I love my movie too. They're like saga.
Get the fuck out of here with goddamn saga.
Right? It's like a book being over 500 pages and being called epic. It's like is our standard so low that it's just like 2 films in saga? Fuck you.
I mean, this got published, so I guess so.
So okay, I'm happy you brought up the books because. God, my sister's listening to this and be like, God, we hate you, and that's fine. What
my sister is gonna hate. Yeah, my sister is gonna hate me for this, and like half the girls I dated in high school are gonna hate me for this.
Fair.
Because me, like any smart kid that was in high school around the times these books were coming out, realized that hey, this is what the girls are into.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
As a young man, you do have to go. All right, like. How much am I willing to stomach before I lose myself?
How much of my soul am I willing to give away?
Exactly. Because for me, it was like the OC and like the Hills and that shit when I was in high school. And
well, maybe not the Hills, but the OC, its cult following is coming back.
Yeah, so the OC, I remember shockingly not being torturous. It was the Hills shit. I was like,
I've never seen any Hills.
Yeah, it's a bunch of vain white bitches who like should probably all not have the gift of life. It's like, why the fuck should I care about anyone on this fucking show? But the OC had this weird soap opera dynamic to it that was kind of like cheesy fun. Kind of like a scripted, sorry, I should just say like the real world, but so kind of in that vein. But Twilight, I remember. So I would have been, oh God, when this movie, this was 2009, I want to say. Yeah. So I would have been, I was like 22. I just moved to Austin maybe a year prior to the movie coming out. And I remember when I was in college, there were a couple of female friends that I had who were obsessed with the fucking books. And my siblings, my sisters were 15 at the time. 15? Yeah, they were like 15 at the time. They were both fucking obsessed with it. They could not get enough Twilight. And I was starting to kind of get into the concept of maybe I want to do, a blog or something like that for movie reviews. And so my parents, being the smart people they are, went, yeah, fuck you. We're not taking your sisters to go see the Twilight shit. Go like Big Brother time. Go. So I saw.
That was nice of you.
So I saw Twilight.
Well, they dodged a bullet.
Right. So I saw Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn Part 1 at midnight, back to back to back to back. And so I remember, I wish you could see Bradley's face right now, audience, but but the best thing about it is that there was a Buffalo Wild Wings like 200 feet away from the movie theater. So in between the movies, I had an open tab. I'm like, all right, give me a shot and a beer. And so I kept going back and forth. So it helped me get through it a little bit. But seeing all the films, which I have, and I'm reviewing every single fucking one of these before this is over, New Moon's the one that just angers me. Like, I really have multiple issues with it. And it's funny, I was kind of joking with Bradley about reviewing it. And the more we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, I really actually hate this fucking movie. And I kind of want to talk about why I hate it. So Bradley, I'll ask you, man, like, what was, like, because you've read the books, right? Haven't you?
The first two excerpts from the last two. I never saw Breaking Dawn Part 2, but I did see the YouTube clip of the only reason that film is so popular.
Yeah, which when we get there, that is one of the biggest like middle. I think that's one of the biggest middle fingers.
Yeah. Which part? Michael Sheen just like going full Nicolas Cage, or the whole "fuck you, it was all a dream" sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Like they pull the Roseanne. They're just like, it's one of those things. It's like, wow, one of the laziest storyline components you can use. Just going, to quote a Notorious B.I.G. and just go, it was all a dream.
It was all a dream.
I fucking hate that shit. But to get into the movie, it's directed by Chris.
Come on, this shit is written for teenage girls. You can't actually kill anybody in these.
Well, to be fair, I think Bill made the best of a bad situation, because in the novel,
none of that shit happens.
Yeah, Alice is all like
being very loose with that definition of the word novel. Yeah,
she's essentially is like, don't kill my family. Look, a Brazilian person, and the ancient vampire is like, oh shit, a Brazilian person. That's new. I guess everything's fine.
He's like, ooh, melanin.
But like, don't act like you don't know.
What sorcery is this?
He lives in Italy. He can travel the world on a whim. How does he not know Brazil exists?
Anyways. Yeah, so that's fair. But New Moon. But so it's directed. So it's directed by Chris Weitz, who did Golden Compass, About a Boy. Actually forgot he wrote the screenplay for Rogue One, which is, fun fact, my second favorite Star Wars film. I fucking adore Rogue One. And its writer is Melissa Rosenberg, who was a producer and the showrunner for Jessica Jones, which is so hilarious when you think about the female characters.
I mean, it's great for one season.
So what's funny is I enjoy all three seasons of it. Second season's the roughest of the three, but I love the Hannibal Lecter aspect of Trish is a bitch, and we know she's a bitch. So let's just lean to the fact that she fucking sucks. But whole other conversation. And she was also a producer on Dexter before it got shitty, and Scott Buck ruined it.
Before Scott Buck treated that show like the U.S. treats its foreign policy. Just go somewhere, wreck shit, and then pretend that never happened.
Yeah, that is accurate. And then Iron Fist, which is but we have Kristen Stewart, who is probably about to win an Oscar, or damn sure at least to be nominated for one if that trailer is in it.
Kristen Stewart, who's about to win an Oscar, in love with Robert Pattinson, who's about to be Batman.
Yeah, what a weird trajectory their careers have taken. But Stewart,
and Taylor Lautner, who went into nothingness.
He disappeared into the void.
He really did. But
the second he lost them abs, he just disappeared into the void.
Oh, that's sad. That's not fair. Cruel.
What's crazy?
If you watch these movies and like judge his acting, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, like tracers and abduction are like back-to-back swings and misses. Like it's a little.
They're not swings and misses. Do you ever see that GIF of like Tyson Fury uppercutting himself?
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah,
it's like that.
That dude's got a
It's
tough
like that.
He took a blow from like a goat heavyweight and survived it. That's incredible.
I mean, true. But so okay, this movie. So I think Twilight. So I haven't reviewed it yet.
Your bone over there.
I will. But Twilight, I think, is okay. Good's a little strong. I'll say it's okay. I give it a C+. I actually like the music quite a bit in there. I think it's well scored.
Yes, Decode is still a certified banger.
Yeah, I mean, Supermassive Black Hole, which I've been called a time or two. There's some other songs in there that are actually good. And I think because it's the first one, it's kind of like the first Hunger Games in the sense that I'm not used to the trick at this point. So I'm not mad at this yet. But I'll be the first to admit, I think the Hunger Games films are average at best. I just never got into them.
I think I feel the same way about the first Hunger Games that I do about the first Twilight. This is introducing the franchise, introducing us to these characters, and at least with Catching Fire, it elevated itself by having actors like fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman and Donald Sutherland.
That always helps. And, yeah,
of course.
Jeffrey Wright's in the sequel, I believe.
Sequels,
yeah. Harrelson is shockingly good in those.
Oh, it's Haymitch. That's right.
Julianne Moore. So fun fact: the comparison I'll make between these two franchises, though, real quick. Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Mockingjay Part 1 put me to fucking sleep. I fell asleep so hard. No,
they're not meant to be two movies.
Like, goddamn, like they are slow movies. And
I mean, nothing fucking happens in Breaking Dawn Part 1 except Stephanie Meyer's pro-life propaganda.
Yeah, and so to segue back, that's what this movie's basically about. Is Edward has one night stand remorse. Basically, he's like, "Oh, I took this bitch to prom."
God damn it! It's like, God damn it! I can't get rid of this bitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I took this bitch to prom. She's fucking hooked. Oh fuck. That's the only reason he won't turn her, because whenever she lays out,
he wants the fucking option to leave.
Exactly, because dude, come on, Bradley, you know it's true. Because when she even lays out, like, hey, just turn me, like, it would actually make our lives easier. I wait.
He keeps like finding different excuses, like, I don't want you to lose your soul, Bella.
Yeah, which let's be real. I mean, okay, I know this isn't exclusive to religion, but goddamn, that is a very religious concept, the whole concept of a soul. So Edward kind of going, well, like, I don't want you to. I'm like, dude, like, that's the best you got. Like, that's bad.
Well, considering who wrote this, Stephanie Meyer, a devout Mormon.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's pause real quick and talk about her. So, first off, Stephanie Meyer, she ended up doing that movie in that book, The Host, which, god damn, that movie's so bad. I forgot about The Host. Just thinking about that is making me real depressed. But this is what happens, partners, when you're not satisfying your partner. They get really depressed and sad, and they write shitty fucking jokes, because this reads like a woman who's not getting dick down, is taking
this reads like a woman who has never received cunnilingus.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe it's a sin, but The Host didn't strike like
hey, according to DC Comics, heroes don't do that.
She's lifting a lot of X2 allegories for New Moon.
Yeah.
You know, when Bella's like, gee, Jacob, can't you just not be a werewolf?
It's not a lifestyle.
It's not a lifestyle.
Yeah. So that's interesting. An LDS author making pro LGBTQ statements. So that's kind of interesting.
I mean, she's at least pro one sexuality.
Or she was trying to appropriate that phrase for, I don't know, nefarious purposes. Love is love, but only between Bella and Edward,
Yeah.
Love is love, but only between Bella and Edward, the two pretty white people that you
the whitest. They turn so white when they're vampires.
So I'll be real.
They're so white they sparkle.
Is Bella whiter than Edward somehow? Because it really looks like there's this point where they are in this meadow, and credit to the movie, there are a couple things that I actually like about this movie. I will give it a couple points for a few things. So I actually like the way that initial dream sequence is shot. It's dumb, but I actually like the way it's shot, and it goes on for like a minute too long. Like, you kind of get the point like halfway through the sequence. It's like, you could cut here and I don't need to see her like all like rosy, looking like a raisin and shit. Like, you can kind of cut it like a minute before.
Well,
but
it's kind of pandering to the family thing, because she's like, "Oh, Edward, that must be my grandma. Come meet my grandma." And I'm like, come on. Your parents don't give a shit about you. They're just dumping you off left to right.
Oh, you don't give a
grandma
fuck. It's like, she doesn't give a single fuck about Charlie.
Right? Like, what grandma do you have, Bella? Not one that would come to your wedding, I guess.
Yeah, your grandma. Yeah, you don't give a shit about your grandma. Your mom abandoned you so she could go get dick.
From an amateur baseball player.
Yeah, not even major league.
Not even a rock star. Just a guy who owns a bat and knows some drunks that play together.
I do appreciate, though, that almost like the movie stopped just short of saying exactly what you just said. Like, Bella's mom wanted to get dicked down by a guy half her age, and and she's like, "Oh fuck, this mopey teenager hanging around is gonna fucking kill my vibe."
Yeah. I think when I was rewatching it, I put in our group chat. It was like, just my headcanon dialogue. Look, Bella, it's hot girl summer and I need dick, so go live with your dad for like a couple months.
Which, you know what? I'm sure as unintentional as that was on Meyer's part, I appreciate that. I appreciate the mom just going like, "Hey, I'm gonna get down." It's like, okay, like, good for you. I mean, at least someone's happy in this fucking movie, because you want to talk about taking the weather of Seattle and making it like humanized form. Everyone in this movie is so fucking depressed. Like, it's kind of a bummer to watch this movie, because Charlie's fucking depressed because he can't get sleep, because there's this point where
Charlie's depressed because he can't sleep because his daughter sucks.
Yes, yeah. So let's talk about why she sucks. So basically, this whole movie starts off with, Edward and Bella are still together, Lord knows why, and Alice, who Bella should be with, by the way.
She has so much more sexual chemistry with Ashley Greene than she does with either of the fucking male leads in these.
Keep going on that, because Bradley and I were talking about that. We were like, I felt like I was the only one who ever felt like this, because I'd have people go, "No, she belongs with Bella or with Jacob or whatever." I'm like, no, she belongs with Alice.
Really watch these movies. She belongs with Alice.
Well, I think even they know that, but what's interesting about it, Alice, and it's tiny things that maybe you can even see in the actors, because as we know, Kristen Stewart has come out as a bisexual, and she has chemistry, and now we can acknowledge that, yes, she has open chemistry with a lot of scene partners. But Alice and Bella, they look each other in the eyes and they hold hands.
Yes.
And they're affectionate towards each other, while Edward's all like, "I love you. Here's the back of my left shoulder.
Every breath you take is a gift."
Yeah.
Like,
so fuck that line.
Dude, hold her hand.
Really?
This is not that hard, Edward.
Like, it's not. So if you want to feel like a better partner, just watch how Edward treats Bella, because he treats her like that fly that's like around your sandwich on your picnic. You're just like, like he's so rude to her.
I mean, his dialogue, it should just be written in like the textbook of red flags.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. But the thing about this is that Edward's 109 years old. The movie says
they fucking lampshade it, and it's still fucking weird.
It's so weird because Bella says the right words, but in the wrong tone. There's this point where she even goes, maybe I shouldn't be dating someone so much older. I should be thoroughly repulsed. And I'm like, you should be.
Yeah. I was
like, take this.
You fucking dumbass.
Yeah, it's like you're right there. It's like you just have the wrong fucking tone.
It's like you were right there at the point, but you missed it.
And so they throw this birthday party the Cullens do for Bella, and this is where
which of course Bella doesn't want because she's awful.
Yeah, and this is where the movie really does just lose me and never gets me back. So Alice goes all out. Like the party's absurd. Look, it's beautifully decorated. The amount of candles she had, like it's something you would do for a partner. It really has this like romantic like hue around it, and Edward could give a shit. He's like, oh, I have to be here. Oh, like this is like me biting someone. This sucks. And but
this is like when my parents got shot in that alley.
Oh, if they show vampire bites on Thomas and Martha Wayne in the Batman, the floor is a B. That's all I'll say. But so apparently ribbons are out to get Bella because this ribbon cuts Bella.
It's just like everything is out to get Bella because it's like tiny ribbon. She gets a paper cut and it's like she snipped an artery.
Yeah, it's like a saw trap. It just like cuts her hand. And then she's like, oh shit, blood. And the amount of blood that falls is fucking ridiculous for a ribbon, by the way.
It's like a fucking Kill Bill effect. It's like a paper cut. And then
yeah. And Jasper, who in the first movie was just giving me like creep vibes anyway, just from his looks. The dude fought for the Confederacy, so he was probably just pissed off that a bunch of darkies were going to the same school as him. That's probably true. And he's just like, oh, they're not in the back of the bus. This is bullshit.
They just brush right over that too.
But that's for the Eclipse review. But Jasper stares her down. Like he's like, oh my God, I'm about to eat this bitch. Edward has this look like, oh shit, he's about to eat my partner, the one thing I won't do, and
just yeets her across the room, smashing her into glass.
Yeah, I thought he was wearing a Ray Rice jersey. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like the way he
I thought he was about to fight John Jones.
Goodell, like, we got to destroy footage of that party.
He flings her. He causes as much damage as Jasper would have. Like, he flings her.
He just yeets her across the room into a whole bunch of, like, glass and shit.
But it's supposed to be this heroic moment. Like, he's saving her. I'm like, is he?
Saving her from what? The life she wants to have with you? Like.
And I think that's the biggest issue, or one biggest issue. One of the biggest issues.
Don't buy my girlfriend.
I think we could just say biggest issue because there are a lot with this franchise.
Fair, but that in particular, like especially after that, I just went, dude, just buy her and get this over with. Like at this point,
it's like that. It's like that couple that is constantly just having like issues when you know a lot of it could just be fixed. It's like just fuck already.
Yeah, honestly, but
you can't do that because this is a good Christian book.
Yeah, I mean,
is it though?
So, Brad, so I want to talk to you about that, Brad, because we've been having
punishes sex instantly. The main character is kind of awful. Pedophilia is made completely light of. Spousal abuse is A-okay as long as he loves you.
Yeah, it is
right,
funny.
This doesn't sound like what Christians promote. It sounds like what they're like. No.
Have you watched Fox News lately?
I was gonna say
we just don't do anything about it. Is at the most. But go on.
I think it's cute, by the way, how they only have the indigenous woman with like scarring from her actual physical altercation with her partner,
like
but
the
they're
worst
just
scarring makeup I've ever seen too.
Yeah, like even Harvey Dent would be like, ew, like it's rough. Like when you
I mean, come on. Does this movie look like it has Dark Knight level of a budget?
I mean, you're not okay. Yeah, you're not wrong. Because anytime someone jumped off a cliff, I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Am I playing Echo the Dolphin right now?"
every time they do like the vampires like super speed effect, I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
It was like it looks better on the Flash on the CW.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. But so I do want to talk about Taylor Lautner. He is
like, if you look up the word himbo in the dictionary, at least in this movie, you just get a picture of him because he does nothing and says nothing and is just there to take his shirt off, which, to be fair, if I had abs like that, I would never wear a shirt either.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Props to him. Like,
yeah.
Good on him. Good on him on that gym and steroid and chicken and broccoli diet that he was on for like 8 months to be shirtless.
Yeah, because I will say, the problem is that, like we talked about with Alice, both these guys are such pieces of shit because Edward flat out, like after that whole Jasper incident,
it was like, oh, bye.
Yeah, he's like, peace the fuck out, I'm gone. And so my first thought,
no, it gets even worse because I think I think I put it in my notes. It's like, by the way, you're never gonna see me again, but please stay alive, and I will. Because if you die, I'll kill myself.
But see, the one
That's
thing you
like
missed,
so abusive too.
The one thing you missed out on Nick is you forgot the part where he says, "Would you do me a favor?" Before that, after I just broke your heart, it's like, "Oh, do me a favor." It's like, "Fuck off, dude! I don't know who
fuck you." Yeah, the entire time I was like, "Man, fuck you."
But the thing is, man, there is no one in this movie to like outside of probably Alice and Brawny Paper Towel Man because
Alice, Charlie, and I'll say Anna Kendrick because the entire time I was saying, "Oh Jesus Christ, you are way too good for these movies."
Jessica? I want to say it's Jessica.
Yeah, and I'll get to my thing with her in a second, but I can't believe how Bella just goes into having these night terrors.
She gets broken up with so hard she becomes catatonic.
Yeah, but it's like she did a tour on Nam. She was like, "Oh my god!" and I'm sitting there watching. It's like, you selfish bitch. You need to go to counseling and talk through some of this shit instead of because Charlie just looks exhausted. Like he looks like SpongeBob when Gary leaves. He's like, like Charlie just wants to cry, and I feel so bad for him. But she won't shut up. She is waking his ass up like 2 a.m. and he's like, "Oh, Edward again. Fuck, I hated that guy."
God.
Like, it's absurd. And the movie is like, you're supposed to feel bad for her. And I'm like, she barely knew Edward.
Yeah.
She dated him for like a couple months in high school. High school relationships are fucking idiotic.
Yeah, and it was all awkward dating. Like she'd come up to him and be like, "I love you so much," and he'd be like,
"I love you so much." And it's like, "I used to watch you."
Dangerous.
And I was like, "I watched you sleep a lot."
I'd watch you sleep.
Which, by the way, if I said that to my partner,
if anybody in this fucking chat said that to their partner, we would get the fucking cops called.
I've experimented on this. Not the way you're thinking. Like, as I said, I read these with my wife when we were a young married couple.
Oh.
And I even turned to her like,
"You were young?"
He's watching her sleep long ago. He's watching her sleep. It's kind of creepy. And she's like, "No, it's romantic. Like, he can't be away from her." So I was like,
"Okay, so if I
wifey.
Yeah.
So 2 a.m. she's asleep. I just stand over the bed staring at her. She did not wake up thinking that was romantic. She screamed. And I was like, "I'm being romantic."
God damn. Was that like the scene in Iron Man 3 with like the armor?
Exactly.
Yeah, That's
So don't try anything in this book.
Yes.
Real
The only reason that Edward gets away with it is because one, he's hot, and he's written by a woman that does not understand how creepy that is.
Yeah.
It's real. That's the thing. There are so many plot points. So the Coens end up leaving, not just because of that thing, but Edward.
Yeah, because Edward said, "Yo, I'm trying to get rid of this bitch, but she is hella clingy."
So not even that, but remember he drops the whole, oh yeah, people are starting to talk about Carlisle's age because he looks 10 years younger than he's supposed to look. And I was like, really? No one's talking about how pasty and white he is? Like, that's the thing? Like,
no one's talking about how pasty and white he is and the fact that you're all like adopted siblings and it all looks like you're fucking each other.
Which they are. And it's like, oh, yeah, how very Mormon of them. But it's one of those things.
I just don't get how Edward stands to live in that house and doesn't like, Bella, come over now. I'm done. I just heard my brother,
Bella,
my sister, while the other two watched.
Yeah, I just heard both of my brothers. Yeah, I just heard both of my sisters get railed. And remember, he can read thoughts, so he hears all of it.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. So when Edward leaves, Bella just loses her shit. She just like it turns into a teenage version. She goes catatonic. She is in the fetal position in the woods, and she gets rescued by one of the native guy who just shows up at Charlie's house completely shirtless and nobody fucking questions it at all. It's just like there's shirtless natives running all over. Like that's how bad the white man hurt his tribe, is that they can't afford shirts anymore because everyone is just...
It reminds me of like Parks and Rec whenever like the Wamapoke chief whatever like questioned them.
It's Sam Yulee, who I do want to say has come a long way. Chasky Spencer, he's in Blood Quantum and I believe it's called The Wild Indian, which are both excellent films. So check them out. Don't be weird and say he was in Twilight, boycott for life.
Don't be like you did when they announced the Batman casting.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like people, everyone has done shit since then. I always have to bring up it's like Brad Pitt was in fucking Cool World. That's one of the first things it's one of his first starring roles. Like no one still goes, oh, it's a guy from Cool World. It's like, oh, you have multiple other movies you can bring up with Brad Pitt now. It's like so. We are doing this somewhat for fun, but
yeah,
Bella just loses her shit. Like she goes to this she hangs out with this biker, and Bradley, we were having this whole conversation about this, how Bella turns into an adrenaline junkie, which is stupid by itself, but she's doing
she's not doing it to like feel adrenaline, which okay, fine, I've done dumb shit after a breakup, but she does it to see the Force ghost of fucking Edward.
Thank you. And it's insane. Like, it's such an insane notion. Like, there's no reason why there should be a Force ghost Edward. It just happens in this movie. And
it's because I guess Robert Pattinson got it into his contract that he gets paid a certain amount if he has this much screen time.
Oh wait,
or he tried to get out of it and was like, I felt this was probably one of his better performances in these movies because he was probably relieved to find out, thank God I'm barely in this one.
Yeah, he's got like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it's voiceover work till the end.
Yeah, because even like when these movies were coming out, he was constantly talking shit about. It was like I read the book and it was like something that shouldn't have been published.
Yeah.
Yes. So I didn't
realize
spent years of press tours trying to get fired from Twilight.
I didn't realize how much shit he talked until you filled me in on it. And I was like, I had no idea he was like this during the press tours. Like that makes me happy. But hey, like Bradley, we've talked about it. A check's a check sometimes.
A check's a check. It checks a check. It got him the A-list status that he is. And without this franchise, he probably wouldn't have had the creative freedom to do stuff like Lost City of Z or The Lighthouse.
True.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bradley.
He probably read this. I always thought he read it and was like, dang, this is a weird, creepy character I'm in. And then when he got, on set and they told him how the direction was going to go and they were like, and it's all love. It's not what you think it is. It's not saying it how it is. But this means love. And he was probably like, oh shit.
And he was like, oh,
because when he talks about Edward, it's always
like,
negatively, but not in a sense that he's saying because it's a shit character. He'll say stuff like, this creepy old virgin of 109 years old is stalking a teenager. And it's like, that is what's happening.
When we just say it out loud, it's like, fuck, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like this entire series is a legit one pass in the editing room away from just being a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like how someone on YouTube recut Mrs. Doubtfire to be a horror movie. And you're kind of like, well, it's like, if you take a couple things and tweak it, But Bella going with these bikers, I just went, and I hate this phrase, the whole phrase you were asking for it. Bradley, we talked about this scene. We both were like, there's no way that she does not get assaulted. Like I'm sorry, but it's one of those things where the guy's catcalling her before she says a fucking word. And Jessica, Anna Kendrick's character, is like, Bella, do you know those guys? Which she fucking doesn't. And Bella's just like, oh, I need to go see something. I think I see something. And she just leaves her fucking friend. And I'm like, you're leaving her too, you selfish bitch? And he goes and gets on this guy's bike and then sees Edward's Force Ghost go, you're in danger, or whatever the fuck it says. And she goes, I don't care. And I'm sitting there going, I'm supposed to feel bad for you. That the movie's telling me I'm supposed to feel bad. I don't feel bad. I feel fucking angry that you would leave your friend like that, number one. And number two, let's call it what it is, Bradley. If anything happened to her, her dad's the fucking sheriff. Like he's gonna have to deal with that shit. Like Bella is being so reckless. I'm just sitting there. So you brought up the point when we were talking about this 101. The most fascinating character is this noble biker. And when you said it, I went, motherfucker, Bradley's 1,000% correct. And I'm fascinated by that notion because there's like a separate movie there, like this guy. Yeah. Just, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird concept in this movie, but it's insane how that biker is just like, I'm gonna drive you around. Oh, you're ready to get off? All right, here you go, ma'am. You have a good night. And I'm like, what?
Biker gang in Seattle politely lets
a biker
youth know that things aren't so bad.
Politely let a, I'll say, mildly attractive teenage girl off their bike, no questions asked.
Right. It's just like, come on. And I'm okay.
Hey, so, remember, this is written by a good Christian woman.
Mormon woman, all right. They're the ones with the plates, and but I will say one of the scenes, because I said I had a couple things I actually liked. I enjoyed the score in this movie. I think the score is actually well done. Like the music in these is actually pretty solid. Even like there's 5 of these. The music's pretty good in all 5. It's like okay to varying degrees, but I think the music's good. I think this is actually really well directed as far as how it's shot. Yes, there are points where the CG is so like they are stretching that shit like a rubber band. Like they're trying so hard, to make all this shit work within the context of the story. But the werewolves look bad, y'all. Like they look really bad. Like they are.
I like had my dog next to me. And I was just saying, "Oh, Fluffy!"
Yeah,
they look like the goddamn plushies.
Yeah,
they look like plushies of like a dog.
Yeah,
yeah. They really should have symbols on their heads, like My Little Pony, because it's rough. That's like there is this shot where Jacob looks at Bella, and you see like her reflection in his pupil, and I'm just like, ugh. Like this is dumb. But then there's this scene with Victoria in the woods where she's like kind of like stalking Charlie and what's his name? Harry Clearwater. And I actually liked that scene. I actually thought that scene was had tension's a little strong, but like it had a little bit of suspense, I guess.
Suspense.
Yeah,
I think it's a little like a Lifetime movie level of suspense. I'd say would probably be appropriate for that.
And that's fair. But I don't know. For me, that scene actually stood out. I went, oh, okay. And it does actually end with Harry dying, which, while not a well-developed character, I went, okay, that actually has a consequence to it. He's not a white character, and he's barely in the movie, so you can kill him, no consequence. Right? They're like, that's fine.
Redhead and killed over. That was awkward to me.
Yeah,
it was like the ginger actually sucked out his soul.
He was all like, "My dream woman."
The ginger ate his soul.
So one of my complaints, and I am going somewhere with this. One of my complaints with Daredevil season 1 is that Daredevil figures out who Fisk is like by episode 3, and it's pretty much one of the subplots for the rest of the movie or the rest of the season is watching everyone else put it together. Jacob tells Bella this whole legend in the first fucking movie about the vampires and all this shit and the wolves. Like, they talk about that in the first one. And so
I don't remember them ever using the words like vampire. They just use the pale skin. So for all she knows, she's kind of a dumbass. So she was probably thinking, white people.
But considering she's dating a fucking vampire, there's no point she thought, well, maybe.
Dude, you have watched all 5 of these movies. Are you telling me that she had the foresight to put it together that Jacob was talking about vampires?
Okay, look, I was a dumbass in high school, but even I was sitting there going, like, God damn, I would have put this together. like, come on.
I knew it was about vampires, but I guess she would probably just assume, oh, he's talking about the whiteys.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
I mean, it was just, again, maybe I'm just giving her more credit, but like when he lays everything out, but when he lays it out, I just went, this is nuts. Like, even for this movie, this is kind of insane. I do kind of weirdly appreciate, again, to Bradley's point, how they stole that shit from X-Men and went, well, the gene only pops up in certain people. How's that work? Shut up.
How's that work? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the
fuck
sad
you.
thing.
You're dumb for questioning it.
She could say, well, evolution, but then she'd have to walk back that certain.
that is a really, oh man, could you? Our ancestors,
the fucking Mormon accidentally walks herself into goddamn evolution.
Yeah.
Jacob's ancestors have been around for 5,000 years.
I've been around for a million. 5,000 years.
Right. But
and they were gifted these powers by God.
The other thing too, just to kind of get to the end of the plot here, Alice just shows back up randomly. Just really randomly, Alice is back. I went,
but are you really going to complain when Ashley Greene shows up in these movies?
I mean, very true.
No,
I was like, okay, that's pretty great. But Jacob pulls A Star Is Born because Edward calls and is like,
okay. First off, why the fuck would Bella let Jacob answer her landline?
Very good. I actually have that note here. That's
awkward. Point. And what he says is very weird.
It's like Swan residence. Oh yeah, he's not here. He's planning the funeral.
Like, why is...
And Edward doesn't even bother to ask like a follow-up question.
No, not at all.
Like, what is that? Why is he planning the funeral?
That funeral can be for anyone.
That could be literally for anyone. Yeah, Charlie has other friends besides Bella, you selfish dickhead.
And he probably doesn't even know.
So Pattinson only has about 20 minutes because this is really Taylor Lautner's show. He really is the one who takes over. And it is so clear. I know we've talked about it, but Taylor, like Shark Boy, his ability to go, to quote Drake, from 0 to 100 real quick is fucking insane. Like, there's this point where he tells Mike, who I'll get to in a second.
Which we are well aware of your hatred for this character, but yes, let's get it to it for the people.
But Jacob, though, his level of anger, it's insane.
He's about to fight a dude for like puking during an action movie.
Yeah, which, by the way, so cool. I'll get back to Jacob. That brings me to fucking Mike. Mike is the biggest villain in these fucking movies, even more so than the Valtori, and it really bothers me. It feels like there was a scene from Promising Young Woman where Mike got cut out of the movie. Yes, like he's one of those guys who would be leading one of those old college chants where there's dropping the N-word on a bus. Like he would be that dude. Like everybody,
he'd be one of those guys chanting "No means yes, yes means no."
Yes, Mike fucking sucks. And there is this point. Bella comes back to the group. She comes back into the fold.
And he might as well be like in a Nosferatu cape, just like, oh, Bella.
Like, she's not back at the table for 2 minutes till he's like,
she's there for 2 seconds, and he's like, just,
like, hey, you want to go see a movie with me? And you know, he goes, oh, let's go see Love is Love spelled backwards or whatever the fuck it's called.
That sounds like the fakest fucking movie title ever.
Which it almost, which gives me fucking
something that Kate Hudson probably would have started in the early aughts.
Absolutely. Especially after Almost Famous, definitely. She's like, oh, I got that. I got the one good movie out of the way. Let's do a bunch of shit. But Bella, because she's Bella, goes, oh, let's go see, what's it called? Face Punch?
Oh, Face Punch.
Yeah, because she wants to see something with adrenaline. It's like, goddamn movie. Like, she can't even, like, it is relentless with, like, Bella needs adrenaline. Like, it's like, even Gavin Rossdale will say, you don't need that much adrenaline. It's like, calm the fuck down. But Bella just keeps doing shit. Like, she jumps off a cliff, which, why? What, like, even with
getting in a swimsuit first.
No, like
doesn't like fully. Hey, come on! This is a good Mormon book. You can't show any like partial nudity.
Yeah, right.
Like ankles, legs,
shoulders.
No ankles.
She is in a coat the whole time. Now that she's
incredibly
pale for someone from Arizona as well. Like if she said,
you're
came here
not
from
lying.
Arizona.
I mean, that's why nobody questions it when she eventually does turn into a vampire, because she's just always kind of looked like that.
I mean, true, but it's Jacob is straight up abusive. Like he really is.
He is full. Especially this movie and in Eclipse, he becomes full on nice guy.
Yeah, like there's this point where now I'm gonna get back to this, but I don't even want to say his credit. Bella is the biggest cock tease maybe in the history of anything. There are so many points where she's like she is like toying with his goddamn 6-pack. Yeah,
saying the entire time, I just want to be friends. It's like,
do you?
even I was like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, there's this point in his truck where she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna kiss you, and then turns away. It's like, oh, you bitch, and
you fucking.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
She is a cock tease from hell.
She really is. And there's this point in the theater when they get out of the movie, Jacob says, hey, I'm not giving up on you. And Bella says, and I'm paraphrasing,
I don't want you to.
Yeah, but because I don't want you to leave. I'm like, you are a selfish fucking person. Why should I like you? So I'm sitting there watching Jacob, who, by the way, the first time there's any remote tension between them, he grabs her by the wrist, which I went, that's great. That's not that's not a horrible fucking omen at all. But they have the nerve to go ahead when Edward gets back, and Jacob is just pushed right off to the side again, as if he wasn't there for her when Edward just bailed. And so you're sitting there going, well, Edward's back. This is her, quote, love of her life, unquote, because, sure she knows what love is. But
hey, because she's an idiot teenage girl and Edward's the first guy to give her like any kind of attention.
True.
Yeah.
But Jacob was there, as shitty of a person as he is, and she just goes, "Well, hey, he's back, but I'm gonna keep you around. I'm gonna give you just enough hope.
I'm gonna
so you keep pursuing."
To that episode of How I Met Your Mother, The Hook. She keeps him on the fucking hook.
Yeah, that's actually that's a real good comparison. Actually,
she's like a scene away from just saying, "I'm sorry, I just can't be with you right now."
Yeah, it's maddening. And last thing, because before I throw it back to y'all, the Valtori stuff I think is hilarious. Because
yes, Michael Sheen is the best part of this entire franchise because he just doesn't give a fuck
at all. Like he was probably he'd probably be smoking a joint or whatever, talking to David Tennant.
He was doing I guarantee he was doing lines right before every take just to wake up from how little energy he was getting from fucking Kristen Stewart in these movies.
They didn't need to give him red eyes. He did that much coke. He was just like, "Oh, cool, you're all set, you're good." But
he just showed up. He's like,
right? They're like, "Oh, Michael's good. Let's go." Makeup, all right. But the Valtori, it just shows how incredibly overmatched the Cullens are because Edward gets into a fight with one of them.
Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, speaking more to the X-Men comparison, it's Daniel Cudmore who played Colossus in the Singer X-Men movies.
Wait, is it really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fucking trip. I did not know that. Shit. Wow. Okay. The more you know. But that whole scene just shows Edward apparently is Chris Pine's it's Chris Pine as Captain Kirk because he cannot win a fucking fight to save his life because this guy wipes the fucking
He's
floor
like Steve from Stranger Things.
You're not wrong. like he gets his ass handed to him like easily, and then fucking Dakota Fanning shows up and goes, "This will hurt a bit," and then melts Edward's brain for 10 seconds or something like that.
Just puts the fucking Cruciatus curse on him for a second.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you guys, does it just feel like they're just pulling these powers out of their ass? Because
yes, 100%.
They just feel like there's no rhyme or reason. Like even when they talk about the Valtori, it feels like a summary of what should be a much longer explanation as to how they fucking work. It's a very weird that's all right.
And that's kind of my biggest problem for this entire franchise, in that the most interesting parts of this are relegated to being side characters so we can follow this boring ass romance with this boring ass girl with no personality, and somehow all of the fucking immortal goddamn beings are obsessed with her.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's one of those things that Bella even goes don't kill Edward, because they're about to kill Edward. They're like, "All right, we're done."
Yeah, they're about to rip his goddamn head off.
Yeah, they're like, "All right, we're done playing for food. Let's go ahead."
That would have been fun to see.
And right, and Bella goes, "Don't kill him, take me," which I just went. Really?
What does that even mean? Why didn't they look at her like, who are you? When did
who
she?
The fuck? Why nobody in that room is like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, I do love that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bradley. I know I'm jumping ahead to part 2, but why does Bella do they ever explain why Edward can't read her mind pre-vampire?
No,
because I know her
because she's so super special is all.
That doesn't what? That's so dumb.
That's literally the entire explanation in the final book. It's like she's so special that she was made to be a vampire.
Yeah, she was born to be super.
She was born to be one of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
legends pray tell that an officer.
Really?
Honestly, is it any dumber than any of the shit that has been on in these 4 movies and 5 books?
The Chosen One is
any dumber than any of that.
No,
she's just
I know
the Chosen One.
I mean, I get that, Brett. Like, even in Harry Potter, I'm like, all right, fine. But
Sure.
but there's at least a little, like, there's some tragedy with Harry's life that I can go, all right, fair play. This is just a selfish girl like who is special because
just a shitty teenage girl who is special because it's dictated by the author.
It is unfortunate that I want what I want and I've made up my mind about it. That's kind of a good trait to have, but it's told in, like you said, the most absolutely selfish ways possible. Like if she was still living her life every day being like, I want Edward, I know what I want. But no, she's held up in the attic in a chair in the fetal position.
Yes,
it's like that makes it less empowering and less certain. Horrible.
They focus entirely on the one character who is completely passive throughout this franchise.
Yeah.
And the books are all told from this passive character's franchise, so you can only imagine all of the cool shit that's going on outside of her.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. It's kind of maddening though, because there are some
I feel like Stephenie Meyer would have supported Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale.
I want to be a Fred.
I've only seen a little bit of Handmaid's Tale, but I still understood that reference, so I'm happy that I got that. But so, last thing I will say before we get to our final thoughts here.
Okay.
The whole thing with the natives, with the one girl who had her face all fucked up and all that. It feels like it feels like this is a tradition of these women being in these just abusive relationships and just going basically for the tribe and just brushing it off. And I found that so genuinely fucking heartbreaking. I was like, wow, there's actually, you could build up one of these women to actually go, yeah, no, fuck this. And you could actually have an empowering character there. But
yes, and in the books, and I think in the latter movies, they actually tease that kind of thing, but because we're stuck following this boring fucking lead, we don't get any kind of development from that. Because I think Stephenie Meyer in this book, she comes right out as pro spousal abuse. Because all of the characters are like, Seth got angry one time and let it happen. He felt bad and apologized, so it's okay now.
They literally say that he felt bad, apologized.
Look how sad he is that he ripped his girl's face open, and Edward's reading that mind.
Yeah, look
and
how
that sick, abusive mind is saying, "Ooh, she used to be pretty." You know,
and
Edward's mind is like, ooh,
like go on. Like,
this is some cool fanfic I'm writing.
but it's stuff like that where, you know, and I've had fans of these books and of this franchise go, you're being too hard on it. It's like, look, y'all, like you cannot say, oh man, I am totally about, you know, women being represented well and all that, and then watch something like this and go, oh, this isn't a problematic view of a relationship, because it really is. And go ahead.
Yes, it absolutely 100% fucking is.
Yeah, it's one of those. So Bradley, we've talked about this. It's like how I read the story of Job in the Bible and people try to justify it to me, and I'm just like, this is really upsetting, and I don't get why people don't get as upset as I do reading that fucking book. Like, yeah, it's like, well, he got everything back. It's like, he didn't though. Like, he got new stuff, not what he had. I think he was okay with what he had, and this whole view of relationships and how Bella is okay, let's call it what it is, playing these two guys against each other. Because at the very end of the movie, when Edward is back,
hitting the two guys against each other because she is so fucking bored with her life that this is her only source of entertainment.
Yeah, but clearly, like, she clearly gets off on it. Like let's call it what it is. She probably goes up to a room, it's like, oh man, I know Edward is, you know, sitting somewhere looking at a wall, listening to, you know, Vampire Weekend or whatever.
listening to fucking Decode by Paramore.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
being depressed.
Which again, certified banger.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a banger too.
And Jacob is off somewhere, shooting arrows or drinking fire water or whatever he was doing. because Bella's
too much of that. Yeah.
Because Bella's a bitch and takes genuine joy in people's misery. And I don't get how you like it.
The plot twist of the entire series should have been that Bella's a fucking actual succubus.
Oh my, okay.
And just sucking the life out of all of the...
Okay, that would have been brilliant. If they pulled that shit, I would have given it a standing ovation. But I digress. So I will save you two for last since you are the guest. This is one of my least favorite films I've ever seen. Like, I was really sitting up thinking about over the last couple of days, like, do I hate it that much? And rewatching it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of fucking hate this movie. I hate it's apropos that 50 Shades, spun off because of this bullshit. Because in the same way I hate the 50 Shades movies, because it's like, oh, this woman, she likes to be dom. This guy's not abusive at all. What's consent?
Consent. It's just a word.
Yeah, consent. That's a river in Egypt, right?
For people listening out of context, that was a bit.
yeah, exactly. It's insane. And I don't understand how teenage girls reading this, it's got vampires, it's aimed towards them, fine. But people,
there are much better fucking YA.
There are. Read some old Anne Rice. Like read that. Like don't read this shit. You can. There are better uses.
You deserve better than this.
You do, and I can't not give this a go fuck yourself just on principle, because even the stuff I like, the stuff I hate, I really hate. Like how Edward's out in sunlight at the end of the movie and no sparkling. It's like, but he's not enough sunlight. It's like, okay, so we're just changing the rules as we go. Like, fine, whatever. It's stuff like that just makes me want to cry. And but they're out in meadows all the time, and apparently no one else ever comes in these meadows. Like that Boy Scout who's like, what the fuck? Why are you sparkling? Like, we didn't get that scene.
Yeah, they for sure have killed. And just before I go off on my final thoughts, is Charlie the worst cop in this town ever? Because every single fucking time we hear the news in these movies, it's like another hiker goes missing. It's like, what the fuck?
He's just like,
Charlie's too fucking busy dealing with his terrible daughter to fucking do any actual police work.
I've been in those mountains, Bella, several times. Wish I would go missing. Yeah.
It's like the second supernatural thing gets Charlie. He's like, oh, thank God, finally.
Right? Like, I've been waiting.
Release.
Well, and just closing on that before you finish your final, they live in Seattle. If the Cullens walked around,
they live near
the whole
Seattle.
population would be like,
they're in Forks.
They're like near
sparkly
Seattle.
people, whatever. No one would care.
I mean, yeah, they'd call it some hipster trend and be like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
that's so
exactly."
Cool.
Yeah, so when the actual fucking reboot of this, which come on, we all know it's eventually gonna happen.
Yeah,
it will.
Probably
they can lampshade that. But what are you calling it? 2025? They announced
2025. Pattinson and Stewart will play Esme and Carlisle appropriately.
Oh god, they would do that.
Oh sweet fucking god, they would.
Oh Christ, they would.
Yeah.
And get some unknown actors. Oh fuck, they're gonna do. Bradley used fucking new existence. God damn it.
There's not enough whiskey in the world to make me tolerate that.
Well, it's like how I've accepted Back to the Future. The moment Robert Zemeckis dies, they're greenlighting a Back to the Future reboot.
Yeah.
Like they will, the moment he's gone, they're like,
well,
he's
people.
The fucking
doctors are
studio,
giving them,
the
like,
studio
estimates.
execs at fucking like Universal are like sacrificing a goat so they can fucking kill Zemeckis so they can reboot Back to the Future.
Robert Zemeckis, just stay in your house, bud.
stay in a rubber room so you don't get Final Destination.
remake Bubble Boy of Robert Zemeckis. But sorry, Nick, final thoughts and go ahead in your grade. Sorry.
Okay, so when I was a teenager, and again, young, dumb teenager who was, just starting to get into girls, and I'm a guy with slightly brown skin who could pass for a native. So, of course, when this movie came out, I did okay with the opposite sex for the first time. So I had to stomach saying that I actually liked this movie. And I had to reach for shit that I would say was good about it. It's like, the soundtrack is pretty good, which it is.
It is.
All of the side characters in this, I'd say, are doing the best with what they have. Like Ashley Greene, she's a fucking joy whenever she is on the screen.
She really
not just because she is goddamn gorgeous. Anna Kendrick is also too good for these movies. I just feel bad for Charlie whenever I see him on screen. But outside of him,
Billy Burke's fun.
And the worst thing about these movies is the most interesting characters are left to the goddamn sideline. Like Carlisle and Esme, I just want to see more of their story because they're so much more interesting than fucking this awful girl and Edward. They actually feel like a couple that has lived together for like hundreds of years. Bella's a goddamn cock tease from hell, and this movie is goddamn 2 hours
it's
and
over
10 minutes
2
long.
hours, which is insane.
Why the fuck is this movie over 2 hours? And I gotta concur with you, Hunter. This movie's a go fuck yourself just on the message of it alone.
Yeah, and that's where I land because there's stuff I do. Like I said, I mentioned some stuff I like, but to your point, there's this one scene of Carlisle fixing Bella's cut after Jasper went all crazy.
After Edward just yeets her into a bunch of glass.
That too. But there's this scene of Carlisle like bandaging her up and talking to her, and I went, "This is this is actually a really good scene." And then Carlisle's just gone for the rest of the movie. It's like, God damn it!
And credit to Peter Facinelli, he's fucking solid in all of these movies. And
yes. That
was my point. He's solid in all these movies, as is most of the cast, especially considering what a lot of them went on to do after these movies ended. It's like Elizabeth Reeser, who plays Esme. She was amazing in The Haunting of Hill House.
So I've heard she was great in that. I'm happy.
Phenomenal.
I'm happy she's like gone on to better stuff because again, this was
which most of the cast has gone on to bigger and better things. Sans Taylor Lautner.
Womp, womp.
Don't watch Abduction, kids, or The Ridiculous Six.
His dad's listening to this, freaking out right now. Like, how dare they curse my baby?
Oh God. That would be
you can't buy your baby talent, fucker.
Rumor has it, like, his dad was like his attitude was like on permanent contestant who Simon Cowell just said will never be in the business. And he's like, my son's gonna be huge. He's gonna be everywhere. You'll see.
Damn.
So
Well, he did at least kick Adam Sandler in Grown Ups too, which is something I've wanted to do for years.
Come on, you really think he kicked him? You really think Adam Sandler's going to take a kick from a guy who's actually proficient in martial arts?
That's true.
He seriously hurt.
Let me live the fantasy. but Bradley, we've said our piece, sir. Your final thoughts and your grade, sir.
Okay, I'll probably be the nicest.
Yes, give us a peek into your wisdom of age, sir.
Probably going to be the nicest, but also kind of the meanest. So this, according to statistics, was every Twilight fan's favorite book.
Really?
And the film, believe it or not, fails to live up to their expectations of this book. This film is hated by the fan base.
It should be.
It fucking should be.
Kirsten Stewart and Pattinson actually ad-libbed, "I love you, Bella. I love you, Edward." They ad-libbed that scene and then had to fight to keep it in the movie.
Really?
The director was like, "No, they shouldn't say that. That's dumb."
The movie is her asking to marry her. Okay, sorry.
Oh, God.
That blows
I feel
my
dirty
fucking
after
mind.
talking about this and learning that.
Yeah.
How? I wish you could all see my face right now because I know
Yeah,
Bradley might
this
think I'm
production
doing a
was
bit.
hell.
I'm not.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the best thing about this, Chris Weitz would use the shit ton of money this film made to go on and direct and write and produce A Better Life with Damien. I forget his name, but very good movie. He's in
I
The
know you're
Hateful
talking
Eight.
about, yeah.
Damien Bashir. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong. So that's a good from this. The rest, it's just a mess. I don't know what it's trying to say. And you can't have deep conversations about it because then everything just turns to craziness. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he loves her so much he would kill himself if he even thought for a minute that she stopped being alive. Like,
Yes,
I
if
was
he
waiting
just
for-
randomly called and asked 0 follow-up questions
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like
Well,
something that would be
that's the
upsetting.
horrible thing. The horrible thing is everyone comes off as so nuts in this. Like if I was a Cullen, if I was a Sparkly Cullen,
Almost as
and
if
he
they
said
were
to me-
almost as if they were written by a woman with no actual pedigree in literature.
Right. If my brother was like, "Remember that girl I ditched in the woods 8 months ago? She's dead now." I'd be
So-
like, "What does that matter, Edward? You fucking left her alone and said you were never coming back. What does that matter to
Even
you?"
the black vampire Laurent
Yeah, it was like-
brings that
It
up.
was like, who?
Yeah.
It's like, you pieced out months ago.
Yeah, when he brings up the fact how much does he care about you to leave you alone? I went, thank you. Even a villain is telling you that. And she's like,
Yeah, the villain is like, "Wake up."
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so upsetting to me is she, and I know you guys have pointed out, selfish teenager who thinks the world's about her. That's what they're all like. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a
Just say,
generalization.
yeah,
But
just
of
teenagers
course-
are
selfish.
terrible.
Just let's
are
just take the word. Let's take the word selfish out of there. Just say teenager.
yeah,
Yeah, in
teenagers
closing,
suck.
her, the native girl who's all like,
Yeah,
these-
speaking
the,
as
the
former
deeper the
teenagers, they
scratch,
do
the better
suck.
the love. Like they all deserve better. And for some reason, the film doesn't deliver on that. Like you deserve better than being treated this way.
Yep.
Especially by someone who loves you. or
Yeah,
says they love you.
Bella isn't even fucking mad when
Yeah.
Edward shows back up and goes back to Fort. She's not even pissed off a little.
Not really.
Like I know this, it would be way too serious for a silly movie like this, but I don't care. There needed to be at least 30
It's-
seconds where
this-
Carlisle
this-
or Esme.
This
or-
movie isn't silly. This movie is not treating any of this as silly like it should be.
I think it comes off as real silly. with the
Michael
teddy bear
Sheen
wolves.
is. Michael Sheen is
Sheen
the only
gets
one
what
who's
movies
treating
he's
this
in.
as silly as
But
it should be.
They don't even have like a 30-second where Dr. Cullen is all like, "Edward, you were going to kill yourself? We need to have a conversation."
Yeah.
That would have been enough for me. Just somebody to show some real concern.
Yeah,
please,
just Carlisle
about what
saying,
you're all doing
"Wait."
to each other.
Yeah, it's like even Emmett is like, wait, you were gonna kill yourself over this girl?
Right? Like,
Dude.
dummy.
You dumbass.
I mean, go get a Gap catalog. There's thousands like her, Edward.
Just hang out at the American Eagle at the mall. You'll find like another girl like that.
Seriously, go to
Yeah.
downtown Austin. The brooding shit will clean up there.
Yeah, I will say that the only other positive, I grew up very sheltered and naive. So I was getting nostalgia when Bella was like, "I'm going to go be bad. I'm going to drink milk that's past the expiration date by
Oh,
a day.
shit.
I'm gonna
Or-
drink a Coke that's flat.
Yeah. I'm going to use this credit card, which I know might be near its limit, and buy something." And then, what is it? Ed Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, "No, don't do it, Edward."
Know what?
Don't
I'm
do
gonna
it,
get.
Bella.
Know what? I'm gonna get single ply toilet paper.
I'm going to
and Edward just shows up. Get the 2-ply.
Right.
"Oh, please get the 2-ply. I'm going to buy a ticket to a PG-13 and see a PG-13 movie.
Oh shit!
Know what? I'm gonna buy a ticket to a rated G movie and go see one that's PG. Get fucked.
So that made me laugh, and I did appreciate how silly that was. I'm gonna talk to. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, this it's just so bad, and it gets worse as the further you get away from it.
Does.
Like I do have fun going like, oh yeah, me and my wife, we read all these and got a good laugh and be all like, could you imagine being that wealthy? And the fact that it became a world phenomenon is when it was like, whoa, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
These silly books about a guy who doesn't watch football, so has all the time in the world for his girlfriend. I mean, yeah, that's a cool fantasy, but madness. So, yeah, I suppose I'll give it a fuck you as well.
Okay.
It sucks. The fans say it sucks. The actors say it sucks. So, yeah, who am I to go against people who lived through it? Even though I do think it's great. Chris White's got to direct an incredible film later, and Michael Sheen is having a ton of fun.
Okay,
so,
Michael Shannon was in these.
Yeah.
That would have been fast.
Could you imagine? Vampire.
Okay,
I know about vampires.
You're a vampire.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon as a member of the Valtori would have been fantastic, and I'm so sad.
Oh, if they cast Michael Shannon, just take all of my money.
Yeah.
Oh man, if he like worked in dialogue from Revolutionary Road, like you're not going to turn her. What happened? You said you were going to turn her. Now you're changing your mind. Oh, wait, you little bitch boy run off through the woods, leaving her in the fetal position? What happened, coward? And yeah, Kate would be there too, like, he's not well. Leave him alone. He's not well.
I like to subscribe to the multiverse concept where there's a world where that film exists, because that sounds amazing, and I'm very sad that I can't watch that movie right now. His
little bitch boy.
His character from Shape of Water, like fucking Bella's mom, putting his good finger.
He's sparkling in Italy. He's like, you really are a god. Yeah.
Those Man of Steel. What about those vampires? I will find them.
Where did you train? On a farm?
God, we just wouldn't a way better Twilight New Moon movie than they ever could have.
Yeah.
That movie needs to exist. Come on, Summit, get on it. Recast.
Come on. It's like been 10 years. It's been more than 10 years. You can reboot it.
Exactly. You know what's weird, and I will say this last bit in closing, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. It might work better as a show. It actually.
Fuck!
Like,
you
like
might be. I mean, you gotta like change up the length of this each season, because it's like some of these I could justify being like 8 episodes max. New Moon, it's like 4 episodes tops.
Okay, like, but I think
because there's not enough content in all of these books to justify like maybe more than like at most 6 episodes.
Okay, so I mean, I think you could do Twilight and you could do Twilight in 6. You could easily do Twilight in 6. You could do
New Moon in 3.
Well, what if you do Twilight in 8 episodes, but add personality and interesting dynamic? What if Edward actually likes school, and that's why he keeps going? He's like, I like reading people's minds, and I like chemistry, like something interesting to why he would even be there.
Honestly, just say, you know what, I'm bored.
And have her be from Arizona, and maybe she misses Arizona. Just something, not
or just give any of the characters any kind of semblance of a personality.
I will say when people say, and this is another positive, they're like, Kristen Stewart's awful though. She's just a blank canvas. She's a nothing. Read just 10 pages of this book. She is nailing this character.
She is like
is described as an absolute nothing.
Yeah, and I think Chris Herman was the guy who said this. You could be the best actor in the world, but if you're given shit material, there is only so much you can fucking do.
Like, she's literally writing passages where like Bella looked in the mirror. She didn't see anyone really. She was like nobody, and she might as well be nobody. A blank personality. You know what? It's you.
We
reader.
get
You're
it.
Bella. You get to be Bella. Okay, we're moving on.
We get it. You're supposed to be Bella.
Yeah, interesting prose, but okay.
The irony is that it
was like the only adjective that Stephanie Myers ever knows is darkly.
She was like not too tall, not too short. Her hair was a reddish, blondish, greenish brown.
Yeah, her eyes were bluish, brownish, greenish color.
Yeah. But Stuart, though, like, look, we in closing here, everyone for the most part's gone on, like, you know, outside of Lautner. I mean, I'm excited to see Stuart in Spencer coming up. Spencer. Yeah. I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see what Pattinson does with Batman. Same. I'm really excited for his take on it. And in The Lighthouse, while I haven't reviewed it properly. Yeah, The Lighthouse is fucking incredible. And it's kind of a crime that neither him nor Willem Dafoe got Best Actor nominations. Yeah, you could easily make a case
must have
for
pissed
either.
someone off.
Yeah.
Dafoe must have pissed someone off.
I can see Pattinson.
The man sold the line. If I had a steak, a bloody steak, I would fuck it. And he sold it. He had more chemistry with a steak than he did with Bella.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. But I'm very happy we're done talking. So New Moon is the worst one. So it's kind of downhill from here.
It's for me, it's a tie between New Moon and Breaking Dawn Part 1.
No, this is the absolute worst one for me.
I think it's the worst one.
Breaking Dawn is like over 2.5 is near 2.5 hours, and jack shit fucking happens in that movie.
And that's
you're watching some couple you don't give a shit about's vacation video for like an hour and a half of it.
That is rough because I remember at the end of Breaking Dawn, I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't watch any of these.
I gave up
because of the controversial.
I gave up. I straight up did not see part 2 until this year.
Yeah.
Really?
That's funny.
That is funny. I remember when at the end when Jacob imprints on the kid. I remember
on the newborn baby.
I had to cover my face
like,
with my
hey
jacket.
Bella, what are you doing later?
Right.
Never mind, your daughter.
That opening night, I had to grab my jacket and put it over my head because I was laughing so hard I was hyperventilating because I was like, he's not imprinting on this fucking infant right now. And I'm like, God damn it, movie. But
well, you think he would have?
It's not pedophile. It's not pedophilia. I'm gonna wait until she's 18. Yeah, that's still grooming. That's gross.
Also, it's until she's 18 looking, which was in like 3 months.
That is true. You know, well, if he's wearing a priest collar, he would have just gotten transferred. But that's neither here nor there. But we'll end off that one before I say anything else that piss people off.
Shots fired.
Right.
Ooh.
Balls in your court.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Francis.
Exactly. Bradley, where can the people listen to you, find you, all that jazz?
Oh, you could hear me on the Screener Squad at oneofus.com, reviewing movies.
Isn't it .net?
Usually I'll say it's .net, isn't it?
Yeah, .net. Usually reviewing Netflix specials mostly. So, yeah. And follow me at Bradley of Martin. No E in Bradley. I usually always tweet back, so whichever.
He does. It always brightens your day. So I highly recommend people follow.
He does.
Yeah. And Nick, where can they find you, man?
All right, you can find me personally, Twitter, Instagram, at Night and Day Nick. You can find my podcast, The Afternoon Tune, anywhere you listen to podcasts, The Afternoon Tune. We do our show live on Twitch every Friday and Saturday, twitch.tv/The Afternoon Tune. We have our poll up for our spooky season coverage up on our Twitter right now, twitter.com at Afternoon Tune. And be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, give us a sub.
Right on. I need to hop back on. Actually, for those of you who have not listened to Afternoon Tune, you can find me on there. I was on the Fast and Furious series retrospective, which I had a blast on.
Yeah, we did a retrospective of the entire Fast saga. And unlike this series, that actually earns the title saga.
Yeah, it does, which is insane. This actually made over $700 million, which I had to look up. I was like, God damn.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
Right, when you think about like something like Shazam, which I love so much, and barely made money, and you see Twilight, New Moon, it's like, God damn it, like the world's not fair.
Joker,
I feel sad.
Yeah, so there's something fun to leave off on. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up here for oh god, what is coming out for Halloween Kills, which I'm stoked to watch that tomorrow. I'm actually gonna.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm ready for Halloween Kills. Gonna have a review up for that. And I have a review up for Scream because I've seen Scream once. I'm like, I'm gonna watch Scream. Haven't seen
you
it
were
in a while.
reviewing Scream and you didn't call me, you son of a bitch.
Hey, I haven't reviewed it yet, man. If you want in, it'll be in a week or so. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Scream. I'm actually really excited to watch that. And gonna review the original Halloween, which I also have only seen once, but bought, and I went, fuck, I should probably watch that. So we'll have some reviews up for that stuff as well as a review for Ted Lasso season 1 and 2 next month, which I am really excited to review those because I have a lot to say. And I'm going to be hopping on Twitch at twitch.tv/JHunterRealPineapple. I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil 4 here in the next couple weeks. So I'm gonna try and beat that game because I have not beat Resident Evil 4 and I fucking should have. But
it's usually everyone's favorite is RE4.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, everyone. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Take care. Get your COVID shot. Wear your mask for fuck's sake, and we will talk to you soon. All right, you can hit that stop button. Beautiful. That was 90 minutes. Goddamn, that did not feel like that. Holy crap.
Yeah. Let's see, what is the 13th? I always just sign with my date.